Right, let's go through this quickly. So, if you want to trade like binary yes no contracts, you can, but you can't do that with leverage, and there's a few reasons why. The naive approach would be to do something like perpetual futures on them, but as we will see, that is not possible. It will result in a dysfunctional exchange. So we've come up with this new derivative for people to trade, and we've made a whole infrastructure for facilitating that. Right, let's go. Right, how it works. So they are boundary options done in a spread, in a bull call spread. So let's say you buy a boundary option with strike K0, you sell one with strike K1. That's kind of what your payoff curve looks like if time ends right now, ish. But anyway, so you can see that there is this line in this range K0, K1, which has a gradient, and that gradient is equal to 1 over K1 minus K0, and that's your leverage, okay? Once you exit it, you're paid. So the problem caused by the naive approach with, say, perps or margin trading, the problem is the probability of the event occurring, which is the asset you're trading, that is your index price for perps. That is fundamentally a jump process. It is not in any way continuous. So if, say, Argentina scores a goal, the probability of them winning could shoot up immediately to 0.7 or something, and then everyone who would have had a liquidation level at, say, 0.6 would become insolvent, and the exchange would have to cover the losses. Right, very bad problem. There's a worked example here, you can go through it, comes up later. So the solution is to define a derivative contract with K0 and K1 as the two strikes in this range here. If we look there, K0 and K1. What happens is it pays off as soon as the live probability P event leaves this range. Okay, so if you have the yes contract and it leaves this range here, you get 1 immediately as soon as it hits here. Or your contract is rendered null and void the other way. There's also anti-contracts, which we'll come on to later. There is a white paper, which I recommend you read with a lot of maths, my friend did on all of this. So the way we facilitate trading, you can come in, it's all right. The way we facilitate trading is very complex. We have the actual contracts themselves are all on Polygon, but we can't have an order book on Polygon. So what we do is we have a Rust backend with a load of API endpoints for trading. These go and submit orders to our OCaml matching engines. So we have one matching engine for strike pair K0, K1 per event. So there's 10 for Rust. And then the orders are sent over Unix domain sockets. They come back, the fills are then sent to the Polygon governance contract, which knows the addresses of all of the K0, K1 contracts to go and call, say, transfer or redeem on. There's a worked example here. The main idea is that you can kind of mimic this idea of the perpetual future with 5x leverage, because the leverage in the range 0.4, 0.6 is going to be 5. I won't wait too long on that. So right, anti-contracts, they just have a payoff of 1 minus the contracts. It's exactly the same as yes-no contracts on Polymarket. Then for redeeming, so this is when the probability leaves the range and we have to pay all the yeses 1, or it goes below the range, we have to pay all the no's 1. That happens automatically. So the Rust backend, which is monitoring the live TxOdds, so we couldn't do this without server-sent events for TxOdds. As soon as the probability exits the range, it calls all of the contracts to go and pay the people their winnings. So you don't have to manually call it like you do in some other exchanges. And then we have quality of life features. So there is obviously Subway Surfers gameplay. I didn't have that. Cool, right, we're going to try and do a live demo now. Right, now time for the demo. So, sorry. So here we've got a load of things running. So up there, that's the Rust backend calling all of the OCaml microservices. That is the Python market making algorithm we've done. All it does is get the live TxOdd and quote around the spread. And then this is our local fork of Polygon, and we've got an Anvil RPC around it. Anyway, so if you go to the front end, it's not deployed. There's no way we're going to be able to deploy this in time. Only game we have, Spain, Argentina. And then you can go and trade these contracts. These are the live odds streamed from TxOdds. And then you can go and say, like, buy 12 yes contracts. Okay. You can also sell 12 no contracts, even though you hold 0, because the contracts implicitly mint for you. Okay. And then we've already had one of our positions settled. There we go, 12 contracts. And that happened because of us selling no. And then we can check the market maker spreads here. So buy yes, buy yes, Spain is 5. Sell no, Spain is 99. So the spread there is 4, if I'm correct. So that's what the Python thing's doing. Great. Well, thanks a lot for listening. And yeah, here's the quality of life feature. And okay, I don't know what this is. Sorry. Okay, I don't know what that is. Sorry.